Welcome back to the Neutral Zone. Another episode, season's ongoing, and what can I say? The Boston Bruins are 6-5-0. So, since last we met, Quinny, Payne, what do you guys think about, the first 3 weeks so far with the Boston Bruins compared to last year, actually?
Well, right now they're not a playoff team, both in standings and as far as skill and the way they play on the ice. Very helter-skelter team. Some games they play outstanding, and other games they really struggle. They aren't accountable on their own end, and it doesn't, unless Tuukka Rask is playing, they seem to struggle. Big year out of him, so you can't complain about that.
I think they're having trouble getting production from all their lines, which they've had in the past, which has made them so successful and a tough team to play against. Right now, they're just relying on the Bergeron-Marchand line. And really, that's the only line. With them and Pasternak is the only line putting up points, and we need to see some more points from some other lines.
Yeah, like Quinny, you said Marchand's, performing, Bergeron's performing, Pasternak's performing, Carlo, Chara, Rask, Bex, and the disappointments are Krejci, Spooner, Hayes, Krug, Bolesky. And what do you think about this turnout? I mean, it seems like the first line is doing most of the work throughout the season so far.
Yeah, I think the first line's been one of the best lines you've seen throughout the NHL this year, especially with Bergeron being back. A little snake-bitten as far as goal scoring for a while there, but I think he'll get going. He's still making plays happen. He's still the best penalty killer in hockey. That second line, though, is really what's hurting them. David Krejci can't seem to produce, whether it's scoring himself or finding somebody on the wing. Hopefully with Backes being back and having Bergeron to fill in that top line with Backes sliding back, they'll have some more productivity going forward. But as of now, there isn't much to be happy about with that second line.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a tough injury to Backes early on in the season. I'd like to see Krejci get some more opportunities now that they sat Ryan Spooner down. Now they got him on the wing. He looks like he's playing a little better, so hopefully that opens up some more production for Krejci. And with Backes coming back, I hope we can establish at least top two lines and go from there.
I think Mike will agree with me on this. The third line too, they got to be able to be productive on that ice. They've been struggling. Riley Nash actually liked the signing as a bottom six forward. He isn't really doing much. Bolesky and Hayes have both, seeing play time drop, and they've been.
Those two have been irrelevant.
Yeah.
Well, Hayes hasn't been performing or even scored a goal since last January. So, I mean, given the take that you guys are not happy anyways, but he did score a shootout goal, which is nothing too exciting. But he still has to perform more, and he's just not performing or doing his job as a Boston Bruins player. I mean, he hasn't been shining lately, or even at all for the past few months. Even late in the last season, he's not performing very well in my expectations.
Yeah, I do like what I've seen out of the fourth line, though. I think Schaller's been a good step in. I think Dominic Moore's actually been phenomenal in that fourth line center role. You're getting similar production out of him that you would get out of a guy like Greg Campbell. The fourth line, what made the Bruins so successful a few years ago was that their third and fourth line could match up with anybody else and usually outshine them. Right now, you're just not seeing that. They got one line that goes, and the fourth line does well, but you can't rely on them to be putting pucks in the net every game.
I totally agree. I think the third line's irrelevant out there. I'd like to see the fourth line has been doing good. You get the veteran leadership from Dominic Moore, so that's always a good positive thing. But you need to find some way to get this third line going, otherwise it's going to be a struggle all season.
Yeah. Bex was out a couple of games, I think. 5 days, 10 practices, and he comes back. What do you think of his performance so far? I mean, he's not performing as well, but what do you think?
I'd like to see him. I think the intangibles he brings on ice leadership. He's a great guy in the locker room, but he's got to get Krejci going. I think he can. He's scored 20 goals multiple times in his career, so hopefully they can find some chemistry there. They seem to be experimenting with the other wing. Ryan Spooner has, like Mike said, he has been playing better since he got sat down. So that on paper that should be a good line, but as of right now they aren't playing well, and they do give up some range as far as their defensive zone play. Spooner's not spectacular in his own zone, and Krejci's been okay at best this year. I think you're going to get a solid defensive player in his own zone out of Backus.
I agree. I got to see more. I got to see more games with David Backus in there. I mean, when he was in there, when they didn't have Bergeron, I know that Marchand, Pasternak, Backus line, that was a good line. So like I said, I got to see more games with him in there.
Yeah. So when you mentioned disappointments that you emailed me, like such as Krejci, who's a all-around talented player. He's been on the Bruins for many seasons. Krug, still a young guy, but he knows what Coach Claude Julien expects from him. So and Bolesky's been here a year already, so he kind of has a good feel for what is expected from Claude Julien. So what do you as a fan and a Bruins fan, what do you think they need to do?
Well, just on that list, the power play needs to be better. I think that starts with Torrey Krug, kind of quarterbacking that unit. They've just haven't been able to put the puck on the net, it seems, in the power play. They're not consistent. They don't establish good zone time. So moving forward, hopefully he can turn it around, because when you pay him, you're expecting point production out of him. 44 points last year as a defenseman, obviously exceptional. This year, kind of a shell of himself in the offensive zone.
True, they definitely have to get the power play going. They rank 30th in the league right now. I don't know. You can't go far without a power play. You got to make teams pay for taking penalties.
Yeah, like power play is probably one of the most key parts. Well, not key, but
all the successful teams have a good power play.
Yeah, it's important. And so Tuukka Rask is on your good expectation list. I see it. He's definitely been performing better than last year. There is a couple of games have been won at home. Last year we did not have many games won at home at TD Garden, and so what do you? He's looking good so far. Not terrible, but not great as we want him to. So, pros and cons. What has he done best, and what do you think he needs to prove on?
I think he's been the best player they've had this season. They seem to play better when he's in the lineup, and he's helped them steal some games. They just had a road trip they went 3-0 on, taking 6 points on the road is very big. Moving forward, if he keeps doing what he's doing, they're going to have a chance. They're still a couple pieces away in the back end, and they need another wing, whether that's Vetrano coming back or they have to make a trade. But I think Tuukka Rask has been their best player this year by far.
I agree. He's been exceptional. I agree that when he's in the net, it seems like the team builds off that, and it gives them a boost of confidence that they build on.
And Mike, you said last year, and I totally agree with you. I've read this too. He's been taking sick days, and then fans see him out at the bar partying or whatever. We don't know for sure if he's still, I don't think he's been sick yet, but we hope he doesn't do a stunt like that again. But it seems like right now he's performing very well for the Boston Bruins, and a big important part of this team right now. And it's been high expectations on Claude Julien, so he looking good. Other than that, so David Pasternak, is finally back after a 2-game suspension. What do you guys think about that call?
Definitely a penalty. Pasternak, not a repeat offender. One skate did come off the ice. The left one looked like it stayed on. I think it should have been a fine at most. I did not see a 2-game suspension out of that.
I saw a penalty. I didn't see a fine or a suspension. His skates come up after he already made contact. It wasn't that he left his feet to make contact, and it wasn't directly to the head. He squared up with the chest. And then, who was it, Girardi? While Girardi was coming down after catching the puck, then contact was made with the head. So it was Girardi who left his feet to jump and catch the puck. So I don't know. I see a penalty there, but I don't see a suspension. Especially where he's a non-repeat offender.
I don't see a suspension. He's not like Rafi Torres or anything. It's not like like you said, he's not a repeat offender.
Right. If it was Marchand who did that, we'd have a different story on our hands.
Yeah.
Because he is a repeat offender.
And the kid kid's still learning, the NHL rules and stuff like. The NHL is strict on their suspension policy, I believe. Just looking back from the past, but hey, he's finally.
Quick. I thought it was. I actually liked though what I saw out of him going there, initiating contact. He seems to be doing that this year. He looks a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. I think you're seeing it in his stats. He's a better player than he was the past 2 seasons. So you know what? If he's going to take penalties, at least they're for trying to hit somebody, and not like lazy penalties where he's hooking somebody down or something like that.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Yep. I agree too. He's becoming a good NHL player lately, and he's performing very well. So I don't actually have this on the outline, but what do you think Claude Julien's expectation? What do you think he needs to do now, moving forward into the season, going on to the rest of November, December, and then you got January, which is the beginning of the year, and even I know it's early, but in order to make the playoffs at all, or be contended for the playoffs.
Well, they need to continue great play. They're getting out of Tuukka Rask. That's going to help. Been very impressed with Brendan Carlo this year. He's really stepped in, playing with Chara. I think it's actually helped Chara out a lot this year. Chara looks a lot better this year. It's still early in the season, so let's see if those old legs get tired soon. So I think it's just about finding the right pieces moving forward, and that's how they'll be successful.
Yeah, I think it's about getting production out of all the lines and establishing your power play, because right now they're awful at those two aspects.
Yeah, I agree. Now let's quickly go around the NHL. So I watched a little bit of the game Friday night. I know the Montreal Canadiens are the best team in the league right now, but they got creamed by Columbus Blue Jackets. Did you guys see highlights or catch it at all? I mean, I saw a couple of plays, and then I was actually out Friday night, but I did see the ending score of the game. What did you guys think about that? I mean,
definitely one team showed up to play and one team didn't.
It's true. Yeah.
I don't understand the philosophy as far as leaving Al Montoya in
Yeah.
for all of those goals. 40 shots against, 10 goals. They didn't bring Carey Price off the bench. I understand, resting a goalie, but I'd also, just from the competitive aspect, just to not get killed. I mean, that's just a score that jumps off.
It's
off
not
the page.
it wasn't a common score at a game, like a hockey game. 10-0. I mean, I don't know, the highest I've seen live at a game or even on TV maybe is 5-6, 6-0, 6-3 or whatever, but 10-0. I mean, anyways, Florida Panthers lose the game, as well as Jaromir Jagr, I think due to a lower body injury. Still up in the air of how serious this injury is, but I'm a huge Jaromir Jagr fan. I know you guys know. I was pretty bummed when and actually, fun fact, not this year, but maybe next year, he could break Gordie Howe's record of playing many NHL career games. I don't know if you knew about that, but
I knew he was up there. He's a special talent. A guy like that keeps it going. Good for him.
Really
Nothing but
good.
good things to say about Jaromir Jagr.
Young locker room. I think he really gets the guys going, shows them how to be a professional. So, I hope he's back soon. He's still a great player to watch in the league.
I know. I'm going to be sad when even if he does retire, I'll be a little bit sad. So, there's also, many free agencies going around. I don't know if this is too early to talk about. It's only 1 month in the 2016-17 season, but players are going to be free come July 1st. And big names, too. Joe Thornton, Brett Burns, Kevin Shattenkirk. Final year in their contract. Think they'll resign? Think they'll move on? Anything? Quick, just briefly. We don't have to get into it.
I think Shattenkirk will be moved, whether they just go for the cup run this year or, he's a deadline piece somewhere. He will not be with the St. Louis Blues next year. I do think San Jose will re-sign Brent Burns and Joe Thornton.
So Kevin Shattenkirk will definitely be moved. I don't see Brent Burns leaving San Jose. Joe Thornton, possibly moved. Could be, yeah, with his age. See something like a Toronto move, maybe. I'm not too sure. Love to see him come home to Boston, though. That'd be nice.
I can only see him really
Except
going
we
to a
don't have a need
contender.
for we don't have a need for a center, so I don't really see that happening.
Yeah, he's gonna play. It's the end of his career. He's gonna play whether it's San Jose or someplace else. I think where he has a chance to win a cup.
The beard would look good in the Bruins spoke B, though, right? Brent Burns.
Oh, be awesome.
It'd be unreal.
Imagine Brett Burns going and then see Joe Thornton go somewhere else. I know Joe Thornton was once a Bruin, but I don't think
The beard's right there.
I don't think
the most
the-
legendary beards in the NHL.
I don't think they'll re-sign him. I think he's had his time in Boston. That's just my personal opinion.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
I
yeah.
agree.
They-
That's just spitballing.
Yeah. That beard's prime. It's like the Duck Dynasty.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
They got enough centers already too.
Yeah, they need defense. That's is what they need. So going around the league, number one team Montreal, 10 wins, 1 loss. New York Rangers, 10 wins, 3 losses. Chicago Blackhawks are in third. Not surprised. 9 wins, 3 losses. Also not surprised of Edmonton Oilers being in fourth. Your boy Connor McDavid. And then the Pittsburgh Penguins still up there in the running. And then moving down, still not. You know what surprised me was Dallas Stars. They've had a rough start to the season. I don't know what's going on with them, or if Tyler Seguin or Jamie Burns is losing it. But yeah, what do you guys think of the standings so far? It's week 3 going on to week 4.
Quickly, Rangers. Their defense has improved, but their offense has been outstanding this year. Jimmy Vesey stepped in big time. Rick Nash looks great. He's definitely improving from last year. And then with Pittsburgh, they're not showing any signs of a Stanley Cup hangover. Sidney Crosby missed the first couple games. He's come back. He has 8 goals and 6 games played this season. So it's always nice for the league when one of, if not the best player in your sport is shining bright.
Yeah, it's nice to see the Edmonton Oilers up there. A nice young team like that.
Yeah.
Makes me excited.
Yeah, I've in the past I wasn't really an Edmonton Oilers fan, but coming around, seeing them perform, they're looking good right now. They got young talent, and they're showing that they can play the game and be up there with the rest of the guys.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree. I like the way Edmonton is playing. Bruins, not total, bummed, but not completely upset compared to last year. I feel like last year was a little bit rougher than the start of this season. Like we were strong away, but we can't perform at home. I don't understand why that was an issue. Any sport, most teams perform well in front of their own fans and their own mice. But they're performing, at par, but not completely bad. So, what do you guys think of where they're at right now, moving on forward?
You like to see them play a little bit better at home. That's continued this year. Tonight at home against Buffalo, it's a game you like to win, and then when you have to play a back-to-back against the Canadiens on Tuesday night in Montreal, that's tough. So hopefully, you take at least 2 points tonight, and tomorrow's a new day, and you see what happens.
Yeah, Carey Price is a toughie.
Yeah, I agree. Big 2 points tonight. It'd be tough to lose this one, and then go on the road in Montreal. You're looking at losing 3 in a row. So it's up and down. I'd like to see, when they get totally healthy, I'd like to see Vetrano when he comes back in there. I know we're a while away from that, but Back is coming back. I'd like to see the D get a little better. Brandon Carlo's been a star so far in my eyes. Really like his play, really stepping up. Just all around getting better.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree. So I came upon some records that could be broke throughout this season or even next season. Most lead goals was Bobby Hull from the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm not a big fan, but Alexander Ovechkin could break that record. Games played record was obviously Yarmin Yager against Gordie Howe. What else? Shots goal by a defenseman was once Bobby Orr. Now could be, and closest to Bobby Orr was Ray Bork back in the day. And coming up could be Brett Burns, who could break it, but who knows what will happen. Just quick fun facts. Also, going around the NHL. Actually, let's go back to the Bruins. So we talked about Tuukka Rask. What do you think of? I know they've been bouncing around with their backup goalie. Do you think they need to stick with one backup goalie or keep bouncing it back and forth? Like I know Gustavsson has been up and down lately. Trying to think of the other goalie's name.
Zane McIntyre's the Pine Pony rider.
Yeah.
As far as I know, there's talk about him getting the start in Montreal tomorrow.
Because I know recently Gustafsson's been going back to Providence, I believe. That last I've heard, but he could have bounced back. Who knows?
I know they sent
Correct me.
Subban back.
That's what I meant. Subban.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a tough go, good first period, and then letting three quick a few nights ago.
Yeah. So yeah, and also hopefully it gets better throughout the season. With Claude Julien being a good coach, make something work. Also, Pasternak staying at par where he is. Marchand, let's get Krejci back up there because Krejci is a talented player. Char's doing well. He's been around the NHL for some time now, and he's still performing better compared to last year, I believe. And let's get those other guys rolling up there. Spooner, Jimmy Hayes. And let's quickly take a look at the November schedule for this month. So, yeah, the 17th, we're playing the Minnesota Wilds at 8:30. The 19th, Winnipeg Jets at 7. St. Louis Blues at 7. 24th, Ottawa. That's at 8:30. No, 7:30, sorry. 25th is Calgary Flames at 7:30. 27th, Tampa Bay Bolts. 29th, the Philadelphia Flyers at 7:30. And yeah, so that's the rest of November. I gave you guys the beginning of November last month. You can catch that on my first episode. Excuse me. So guys, before we head off, give us your basic all Thanksgiving tradition. I know Thanksgiving and the holidays are coming up. Just quickly.
Gonna eat exceptional amount, and then I'm going to watch football and try not to fall asleep.
Yeah, basically the same. Eat a disgusting amount of food and try not to die, basically.
You're going to have plenty of leftovers there.
Oh, yeah. Always do.
Oh, the turkey sandwich with the stuff.
Oh, yeah, the day after.
Yeah.
You know how
extra
I do it.
mayo.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
heavy mayo.
Well, sadly, I have to work in the morning because, every high school has to do their football game. So I'll be working in the morning and then probably chilling until dinner time and then, stuff my face, pass right out. and try to watch some football if I don't get a food hangover or whatever.
Yeah, food coma.
Food coma. That's what it is. Food coma. So, that's another episode of the Neutral Zone. We gonna be back here in December before the New Year.
I think so.
We definitely got to be back here before the New Year.
As long as we work out the new collective bargaining agreement with the studio.
Yep. Obviously. And James Quinn, everyone. Mike Payne, the one and onlys. I'm your host, Danny Lacrosse. Have a wicked awesome week, wicked awesome weekend. Go Pats, and especially go Bruins.
Walk in the B's game, all I see is black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Yeah, my hat's blue and red, but my jersey's all black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. I'm from a town where it's sports over everything. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and